Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. Today's video, we're going to be talking about all things Conan that relate to gaming. So, if you're a fan of Conan the Barbarian, and particularly if you like to play as Conan the Barbarian, you will like this video. Let's go. Okay, so I had promised a while back, I said that I was waiting on another purchase that I had made to do this video. I kind of teased it that way, and what it was is, for those of you that play the old school D&D, these were not real popular, but they tried a tie-in with with Dungeons and Dragons. They tried tying it in with Conan the Barbarian movies. So I already owned this one. This was the first one. Trying not to get too much glare on there for you guys. This one was called Unchained, and of course that picture right there is like a promo picture right out of Conan the Barbarian, the movie, that came out in the 80s. And there it is, available on Blu-ray. So, and of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the actor in it. So it was very popular. The film did very well. So I think TSR said, well, we'll just kind of piggyback on that, and we'll do some licensing agreement with them or whatever. And they, of course, made two of these modules. Number one being Unchained, and then this was the one I was waiting on because I just bought it, Against Darkness. And again, they used another promo pic right out of the movie there with good old Schwarzenegger. And what's funny is these modules do not relate to the storylines in the movies. They are, of course, using, and they don't say the Barbarian. If you notice, what's funny is they don't say the Barbarian. They just say Conan. So, and it's a different, look altogether than the original logo for Conan the Barbarian. What's funny is the logo on this Blu-ray matches what's on the modules, but this one, of course, was the Barbarian. And they're all this stuff is based off of Robert E. Howard's world of Conan, and it was basically a fantasy world created by Robert E. Howard. And so TSR did those modules, and they didn't do that great, even with the pictures of Schwarzenegger on the front and everything, even though they didn't have anything to do with the movies. So what they did is they thought, well, maybe we'll just create a whole separate role-playing game. So this is not D&D, but it is by TSR, and it was Conan, the role-playing game. And it was all set in the Robert E. Howard's Conan universe, or game world, or whatever, or fantasy setting, I guess I should say. And the world of Hyboria is the name of it. So you had these two modules that were for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition, basically. Then they came out with this whole box set, which was a whole standalone game, and they even made modules for this. And it says from the producers of the Dungeons and Dragons game, but it is again a standalone game. There's one of the modules, Conan the Buccaneer, and the one cool thing about this was they used Clyde Caldwell, who was one of my favorite D&D artists. There you go. There we go. I'm trying to get without. There you go. No glare on it. And his illustrations are my favorite of all time. So they used him for these. I only have one of the modules. There's two more. CN2, CN3, obviously. And then in the box set, you get, like the rules and all that. And then you got a World of Hyboria, and this is a collection of the Hyborian studies of Professor Irvin H. Roberts. And so this is more of like just all the history about Hyboria and all that. And it allows you to, flesh out the game world. So my plan was always when I got this stuff was, well, if the first two modules, CB1, CB2, those with good old Schwarzenegger on the front, if those were integrated into the D&D world, into the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons world, I would just take this standalone content here and kind of work it in too, and just make it all, as a whole separate part of my campaign, where people get to meet with these characters, get to whether it's adventure with them or interact with them as NPCs or whatever the case may be, work that in so that, you could do it with the mechanic of having a teleporter, that they're in some, dungeon or something, and they find this magic portal and they go through it, and all of a sudden now they're in the world of Hyboria, and then they've got to find their way back to Greyhawk or Forgotten Realms or wherever, you could do that. I mean, there's lots of different ways to tie it all in, but there's a lot of good source content there. The first Conan movie, and there was a second, by the way. Second was Conan the Destroyer, and it was not as good. The first Conan movie was really good. If you watch that with a D&D mindset that this is an adventure, these are adventurers, it follows kind of like the same storyline as if you were running them through a dungeon, because there's an ultimate bad guy. They have to go into dungeons. They're looking for treasure. They get treasure. They're celebrating after they get the treasure. They're drinking. I mean, it's just like in D&D, So that first movie was really well done from a D&D perspective. Second one was okay, but it all takes place in this world of Robert E. Howard, and you've got all this source material you can use here for a campaign. Then TSR thought, well, we'll just capitalize a little bit more. We'll try to. There is also a character called Red Sonja, and Red Sonja was also from Robert E. Howard's the same world of Hyboria, just a different character, and it was even Marvel even bought the rights and did the Red Sonja comics here. She-Devil with a sword. I bought this one at the last Comic-Con I saw it, and it was like $3 or something. I was like, I have to have a Red Sonja comic. So, She-Devil with a sword, and they created a module based on Red Sonja, and again, there was a movie by the same title. Now, here's what's funny about this one. The movie is called Red Sonja. The lead character is Red Sonja. That's the main character. The story is about her. It's played by Bridget Nielsen. But if you look at the cover, it's got Schwarzenegger. Now, he doesn't play Conan. His character is not Conan in this. It's Calidor, I think is the guy's name. And it's not his movie. It's about Red Sonja. And but yet they got Schwarzenegger plastered on the front, and his name is right up there in the big letters, and he's not even the lead character. I just thought that was kind of disrespectful, because Bridget Nielsen, I mean, it wasn't a great movie. It was okay, but she did a heck of a job playing because she's a big girl, and she played Red Sonja was like an Amazon type woman, and she did a great job playing her, and they gave all the credit, tried to give all the credit. I think they were trying to sell more or whatever by putting Schwarzenegger on there. It didn't really work that great. But anyway, here's a picture of the module Red Sonja Unconquered by TSR that they tied in. And I had to use a picture there because I don't own that particular module. I will, but I don't right now. So you have all this source material. You've got Conan, Red Sonja, the whole world of Hyboria, all this, and then you already have all this stuff that was published, all this content that you could use, that you could work into your campaign. And then fast forward way, till like a few years ago, somebody decided to make an MMO based on Conan. Age of Conan. Now this is the collector's edition, and I bought this. This is one of the very few times I think I ever pre-ordered anything, because I just loved the idea of. Now that's a great picture there. Of Conan on his throne right there. And I remember I got this, and because I pre-ordered it, they were doing these, and here's where it's going to pay off. You're watching my video. They threw in these. This was part of it was a promotional item for the pre-sale of those collector's editions, and so Amazon was throwing these in. This is a graphic novel based on obviously the same thing, Conan, and it is, I don't know how many pages it is, but it is really well done. And the good news for you is, and here's kind of a look of what you get in there, how it looks and everything, and it gives all kinds of source content, source material, about Conan and everything about Hyboria and everything like that. There's another good picture. That's good. Isles off the coast, and then you get full color. There's all, and that's all the way through this. I mean, it's a really good graphic novel. The good news for you is these are still available on Amazon for 1 cent. You just pay for the shipping. It's like $4 for the shipping. So I will put a link below directly to that on Amazon. I'm not getting anything for that. Amazon is not my partner or anything like that. They don't even know who I am. But I think it would be cool for any of you that would be interested in getting this for a penny plus the it's basically $4 because you got to pay for the shipping. And I don't know. I didn't look and see if being a Prime member took that $4 off, because then you just get it for a penny. But I don't think it did. But in any case, if you want to get it, I'll put the link below and you can follow it. And there you go. So I wanted to do this video to talk all about the Conan materials, and show you that there were modules that were produced by TSR back in the day, trying to capitalize on the Conan popularity at the time, and then even a Red Sonja module. So give me some feedback. Tell me if you are a fan of the world of Hyboria, Conan in general. If you liked the movie, you didn't like the movie. If you played any of the modules, if you didn't know about the modules and now you're glad that you saw this because now you know about them, or if you're even just going to pick this up for $4. So I'd love to get all that feedback. I love when I get feedback from you guys. So anyway, that's it for this edition. We will catch you guys on the flip side.